Okay. ABS and the what movement?
Okay, for the first one,
Okay.
yes, I got it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, let me answer, black man. Let me answer. Let me answer. I got the question. Let me answer. Okay, as far as the foundational movement, I don't know nothing about that. As far as the ADOS, the American Descendants of Slavery, I respect it. I do not support it, and I do not agree with it. I am a Pan-Africanist, and that movement violates three core principles of Pan-Africanism. Number one is identity. We are one African people. We are not multiples of different African groups. We are one human family. Okay, so identity is very, very important for Pan-Africanists. And for any organization that calls itself American but refuses to call itself African is an organization I cannot rock with. That's number one. Number two, central to Pan-African thought and ideology, one of our core principles is that white supremacy must be overthrown internationally. It cannot be defeated regionally. You cannot defeat white supremacy regionally. We must all rise up at once. It must be an international concerted effort by the global African family to destroy global white supremacy. Regional black nationalism will not overthrow a global enemy. Number three, okay, and probably the issue that I take most seriously with regard to the ADOS is the disidentification from our African immigrant brothers and sisters. I'm not disidentifying from nobody. Last time I checked, our Jamaican African brothers and sisters were enslaved. Last time I checked, our Cuban African brothers and sisters were enslaved. Last time I checked, our American African brothers and sisters were enslaved. We were all enslaved together. We were all brought from Africa together. Why am I going to disidentify from my Jamaican brothers and sisters, my Cuban brothers and sisters, my black British brothers and sisters, my African brothers and sisters, when we are all being victimized by the exact same oppressor? The Jamaicans were enslaved by the British. The African Americans were enslaved by the British, except for the last 90 years. So why are we separating when we were both enslaved by the same power? So let me get this right. There's only 3 million African immigrants in the United States. There's only 3 million African immigrants in the United States. We're going to start a fight with them, but we're not going to start a fight with the LBGT who has stolen everything that black people have fought for. We're not going to start a fight with the Mexicans who have stolen everything black people have fought for. We're not going to start a fight with the feminists who have stolen everything black people have fought for. There's about 50 million Mexican immigrants in this country, twice that number of homosexuals, 5 times that number of feminists. But instead of fighting with them, we're going to pick on the lowest group on the totem pole, our own kith and kin, African brothers and sisters. A house divided cannot stand. It's Pan-Africanism or perish. I respect the ADOS movement, but I cannot support it.
All right, okay, let's go to the next caller. We got a caller that's calling in from Los Angeles. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
No, Arizona.
Arizona?
Arizona. Okay. Caller? Are you there?
Yes, Dr. Umar.
Yes, sir.
As an immigrant from Africa, I've been following you on radio, and I do admire the work that you're pushing. So, as an immigrant that came from Africa, and I've been here for the past 10 years, achieved a doctorate in pharmacy, how can I play a role in pushing the black agenda?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of the things that I had not yet mentioned during tonight's conversation is the fact that the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy campus will also simultaneously serve as international headquarters for Team Pan-African. That is the international movement for the independence and protection of African people. So that school will never, ever be closed. Once the kids go home, we take care of nation building and we take care of black community business. One of the conferences we have to have at the FDMG campus is a conference between immigrant Africans, African Americans, Africans from Europe, African Caribbeans, Africans from Asia, African Canadians, and we got to get in the same room at the same time and hammer out a unified platform so no reactionary Negroes can be financed by the oppressor to come in and sow division amongst us. United we stand, divided we fall, brother. So I'm looking forward to seeing you at that African immigrant, African American, African Caribbean, African Canadian, African British Unification Conference. All Africans in America must unite without any respect being paid to the slave master's flag that we all identify with. We are a people above and beyond a nationality. We are a people above and beyond any other identity that we have, and we are going to bring us together as one group once we get FDMG up. Now, let me say this. Yes, there are African immigrants who come to America who coon. But there's African Americans who coon. There's African Caribbeans who coon. There's African Canadians who coon. There's Africans in Africa who coon. There's Africans in England who coon. Coonism is not the exclusive prerogative of any one subsection of the race. We have post-traumatic slavery disease and post-traumatic colonization disorder amongst us all. And nobody within this race of ours, nobody within this great God-given African race has a right to decide who can and who cannot struggle with us. We are one people, and anyone who tries to divide us as a race will be kicked out and pushed to the side. In fact, guess what? We have our own ADOS. We have our own ADOS. We have our own ADOS, and it stands for Africans of the Diaspora Organized for Success. ADOS that.
Okay, we're going to go back to the phone line. We got New Jersey.